Hello everyone. First of all, let me thank you all for coming here today. It is an honor to have the opportunity to address such a distinguished audience. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dinara, Lathifah, a student of Sociology Department, Universitas Airlangga, Surabaya. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is about social order, use of social norms to create a good community life. In this talk, I would like to concentrate on how is the role of social norms in the sustainability of social order. Now, that is my background. My name is Dinara. My ID study number is 07211143319. I'm from Sociology Department, Faculty of Social and Political Science, Universitas Airlangga, Surabaya. So what are we going to talk about? Today we're going to talk about the meaning of social order, why social order is so necessary, and the factor determinant of social order. But our focus is just in social norms. Okay, let's go to the discussion. Firstly, let's talk about the meaning of social order. But before that, have you ever heard the case of a child reported his parent about inheritance, even though at the time his parents were still alive and in good health? Or have you ever heard the term use a kind hand when giving or receiving something from your parents or our parents? Of course, most of us have probably heard of this, but have we ever understood that such things are called social norms? In this part of my presentation, I would like to talk about what is social order. Social order is a term used in sociology to describe conditions of social life that are protected, dynamic, orderly as a result of a harmonious relationship between behavior, value, and norms in social interaction. In this case, the community act according to their respective status and roles, or a condition of security, peace, tranquility or stability, and harmony. So now take a look at the screen. Why is social order necessary? There are several points why social order is very necessary. Because first, to create a safe and harmonious life. Two, to prevent the occurrence of social deviations in social life. And three, as a tool to exercise social control. As I mentioned earlier, social order is something that has a tremendous impact on the sustainability of life. Therefore, social order is very, very important to be implemented. That's all I want to say about why social order is so necessary. So let's move on to the factors determinant of social order. Several factors determine of social order. A. Social norms. B. Socialization. Socialization is an effort to incorporate cultural values into individuals' so that individuals become part of society. C. Social control. Social control is an effort of technique and strategies that prevent human behavior from deviating in society. G. Social control officer. Let's go back to social norms. Social norms is a set of rules used by the community as a guide for behaving, feeling, thinking, and acting. Or it can also be interpreted as a benchmark for human behavior in people life. Social norms will work well if they are institutionalized and are also accompanied by the following conditions. First, close to the community. 2, understood. 3, appreciated. And 4, obey and implemented. So we go to the type of social norms seen from the strength of binding. First, how or usage is the norm with a weak binding force. This minor deviation sanction is only a reproach. 2, habit or folkways is a rule with a stronger force than usage. Rules that come from habit that are repeated in the practice of everyday life. This causes folkways to have power and become something that is standard and becomes mandatory to do. Folkways are not only limited to being a habit in outward action, but often go deep into a habit of thinking. Folkways characteristic. First, unwritten. 2, it is not known who made it. 3, don't know when it was made. 4, the sanctions are like ridicule, satire, and gossip. 5, communal punishment. Informal sanctions are limited to certain groups. And 6, its existence can be denied. Next, code of conduct or mores. Mores are rules that have been accepted by society and are usually related to a belief system or religious belief. Mores are all norms that are morally right. Violation of mores has always been condemned as something that is morally unjustifiable. Mores are seen are more essential for ensuring public welfare. Therefore, it is always defined by threats of much harsher sanction. Violation of the mores is always deeply regretted, and people always try very hard to keep the mores from being violated. Mores characters, first, unwritten. 2, it is not known who made it. 3, don't know when it was made. 4, communal punishment. Informal sanctions are limited to certain groups. 5, the existence of mores cannot be denied. 6, the sanctions are relatively severe. Next is adat istiadat or custom. Custom are rules and actions that are commonly obeyed or carried out from a long time ago that apply and are replicated to group of people in a certain community or sect or ethnic group. Customs have hard sanction for violators in the form of refusal and trial. The similarities of folkways and mores. First, both of which are of unclear origin. 2. Occurs unplanned. 3. The basis of its existence has never been denied because it is supported by tradition. 4. Both are divided by informant and communal sanction in the form of spontaneous sanction from the social group in which they rule life. The difference between folkways and mores. Folkways are seen as relatively unimportant and are therefore defended by threats of less severe sanction. More is seen as more essential for ensuring the welfare of the community. Therefore, it is always divided by threat of much stronger sanction. Violation of mores has always been condemned and deeply regretted as something that is morally unjustified. So people always try hard to keep mores from being violated. So we're going to example of usage. Littering and eat with standing up. Littering and eating standing up are example of usage. Violators of this norm may only receive a warning. Example of folkways. Receiving or giving something with the right hand and respect elders is an example from folkways. Example of mores. Prohibition for adultery and not using drugs. The prohibition of adultery and also the prohibition of using drugs is one example of the application of social norms, namely mores. Those who violate will receive a fairly severe punishment. Example of custom, Tedaksiten and Mitoni. Example of custom are Tedaksiten and Mitoni tradition. Tedaksiten is a down-born ceremony that aims to make children grow strong, independent, and able to face life obstacles. Meanwhile, Mitoni is a tradition that aims to ask for safety addressed to the prospective mother and the baby. Tedaksiten and Mitoni are considered as something sacred. So people really believe in the meaning of the two customs. Well, this brings me to the end of my presentation. To conclude, I like to confirm that social norms are very, very important in regulating people's life so that they can take place well. In the division, according to their binding strength, social norms are divided into four, namely usage, folkways, mores, and custom. In my opinion, we should maintain social norms so that they always exist. When this social norm persists, social change that will occur in the future will not always lead to negative things. So that's all for me. Thank you for your attention. I hope you will have gained an insight into social order and social norms. If there are errors and omission, please forgive me. Thank you. Good morning. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.